Good morning. Good morning, good morning. I just realized that no wonder I'm kind of moving around. I can't see properly. I have some glasses that work better for me on the computer. Let me change those out. I apologize. Really nice to be here with you this morning. It's 8:33 a.m. here. Good morning, good morning. Nice to see familiar faces. What time is it in the world where you are? Where are you? If you'd like to share. I'm in a town called, town/city called Okotoks in Alberta, Canada. And it's quite a lovely morning here this morning so far. It's going to be a great weekend. Hello, Christine. Good morning. How are you this morning? Nice to see you. Good morning, Elena. Lovely to have you here and be in your company. Lovely. Today we're going to talk about healing the body from the inside out with the 3 principles perspective. And, you know, I can start there, but let's just settle in. It's low. It sounds low. Okay. Does this sound a little better? Just with my voice raised a bit? No. Oh, let me just check that. If there is a way I can turn that up. Now I have, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take my AirPods out and I'll just try that and just see. And then later I'll see if there's a way that I can turn it up for you at least. Well, if one doesn't hear it well, that's no good. So I think I can just give me a moment. It might go blank for a second. So can you hear me now? Does this sound any better or worse? Welcome. I'm just checking my sound. It was sounding a little low, so I took my AirPods off. Let's see if this is any better. Are you able to hear me now? Has it switched over? Oh, really? Okay. So everyone else can hear me okay? I will try and speak a little louder, Elena. And if you can check your own volume and just see if there's any way that you can bump yours up. And I will look too. I actually got a new mic that I haven't set up yet. And I will try that in my next call next Monday and see if that is. You do have to crank it up? Okay, isn't that interesting? Well, maybe there's something I can do on my end. I'm just going to make a note to check to see how I can maybe bump up my voice, but I think the mic will be good. Hi, Megan from Northwest Indiana. Well, that sounds lovely. This is my first time here. I've never been to Indiana. What is the temperature like there? Is it a hotter? Is it, you know, what are the summers like in Indiana this time of year? Hot. Okay. I think we're going to have some 20 aboves this weekend. And we're doing my family has an annual family camp just about an hour and a half away from here. I'm originally from Saskatchewan. So we have some family coming from there. And it's going to be about 30 degrees there. So we do a little bit of glamping. So we have air conditioner in our camping. So that's a good thing. So well, enjoy. I hope there's a way that you can just really enjoy that hot weather. Good morning, Barbara from Northern California. First time here as well. Welcome. Nice to meet you and be in company with you. I love to hear where you're from. You will have to leave. No problem. Take care, Elena. Hope to see you again. So let's just take a moment to really arrive. To be here. And here is, I love to know where we're physically in. Fellow Canadian, Caitlin, here, first time joining from New Brunswick. Lovely. Sounds beautiful. We visited the East Coast a few years ago. It was a lovely, lovely excursion. So there's only one place to ever be. Good morning, Melissa. There's this one place. So it's interesting that we're physically in different parts of the world. But there's one place where we all we are together. We're lived and breathed by this universal life force, this energy. I was going to call it a field, but a field indicates, a particular place with parameters, and it's not, it's it's infinite, which is beyond vast, beyond anything our human minds can really conceive. But when we become present to this moment, we are as close as we can be in. I'm seeing how my words are limiting. They're not expressing. We are always in the moment. It's the only place we can be. It's just our thoughts, or it's just our mind, it's just our attention that can squirt away, like trying to pick up a wet watermelon seed off the cupboard. Try to keep squirting away. But even for a moment, when we can just allow everything to hush, quiet, to be quiet. To focus on something that is natural or neutral. In this moment, let's look to our breath and let's just breathe in together fully and completely. Let's do that 3 times in your own time. We'll leave ample time for whatever breath length feels good to you this morning. Excuse me. The breath is a palate cleanser, a palate of the mind. It's like clearing the table after a meal so it's ready for the next. Whatever is going to be consumed or engaged in. Pardon me, yeah. And interestingly, this is the space where healing happens. So I'll talk a bit about where the three principles perspective. Oh dear. And how I see the world. What I know to be true. And even with that, there are some areas of my life where it's like, I know this is true, but I don't quite see it in that aspect of my life cleanly and clearly. So the three principles is they were articulated, and it's divine mind, divine consciousness, and divine thought. And they were articulated by a Scottish welder. He actually was working in BC, Canada, and on Salt Spring Island. And he had a really potent enlightenment experience, and saw very clearly that the world is made of thought, that all we experience is thought, and basically that we are of God. We are the God stuff. Universal energy, source, Allah, Buddha, whatever words you use to describe that one infinite intelligence that created everything that we see, has its creative power was used in everything that we see, including our bodies. It's all energy. So I'm going to use words like universal mind, and that is the mind, the guidance, the intelligence that comes through us from this one energy pool that we all come from. And then I'll use the word personal mind. That is, what we know, what we've learned, our experiences, what we believe, what we've been conditioned to believe, what we imagine, throwing it into the future. So our personal mind has known information, and universal mind is unknown until the personal and the universal mind sort of connect. So we resonate with things. Things become known. But from the unknown, everything that could be possible for us is there. So what we know in our personal mind is very limited, because all we can do is just how it works. It's just how the brain works. It's just how the personal mind works. It can only work with what it knows. So it's always like moving the furniture around in the same room, trying to get a different experience of the same stuff. And you can do it. It's almost like, this is where I would see like coping mechanisms can come into, and there is a place for that at times when we can't see things clearly, where we'll need something, so we'll move the furniture around in our mind a little bit to see it in a way that feels a little better. And the universal energy is always, it expresses through us and then experiences itself through our body, through our senses. So it's like this whole little system just in itself. We experience the feeling of our thinking. We create our own personal reality with the power of thought. This is good news. This is happening whether we intend it to or not. It happens. It's just the way it goes. It's just how life and the mind works. And it's good news because once you know that you're creating your own reality, and once you know that you're being lived by infinite potential and intelligence, it's like, well, for heaven's sake, what's possible? What is available beyond what is already occurring in my life, beyond my current circumstances, beyond my current experience? This is pre-3 principles many years ago, when I first got that, what? I'm creating this? Like, that makes no sense to me. What do you mean? Why would I create this? I don't want this. And then it's like, how do I stop it? How do I, I didn't know, I didn't understand the system. I didn't understand how it worked. So it was like playing a card game without knowing the rules, like randomly throwing out cards and stuff, and then finding like, no, you're out, or you got trumped or whatever. It's like, it's kind of frustrating in the beginning until you get a few hands in with the rules. And then you can really engage in the play. Okay, I get it. I see. So once you really get that you are creating it and how this creation happens through your attention. I did a live yesterday around attention, the power of it, the power of where you put your attention, what you're thinking about. Yeah. So that is sort of the come from how I'm looking at all of this. And I invite you to come with a curious mind, because you may have, it's like, oh yeah, I know all about that. I heard that and I learned it from, there's like all of our spiritual teachers are all pointing to the same thing. Or at least the teachers that I would follow, they're all pointing to the same thing, just using different languages. Even Sydney Banks, maybe I didn't say, the Scottish welder, his name was Sydney Banks, and he passed in 2009. And there is a huge community of people that work directly with him, which, wow, like bless them. They were committed to sharing this understanding with the world. So it sure helped me. Pardon me, that was 3 years ago when I first discovered the 3 principles. And anything that I knew before, I have a background in energy work and that kind of thing, so it wasn't new to me that we're all one, but it was still very conceptual. I mean, it's still kind of conceptual until you put it into action in your own life. But when I came across the principles, my, dabbling with like Abraham Hicks and law of attraction and that kind of thing, it's just like everything made sense. Even the work that I did before, it just, I understand. I understand more what's happening. Yeah. So let's go to, why is it even important to understand about how the body heals? I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to get into any deep, detailed things like that. But it's just looking at it from an energetic perspective, because that's all there is. It's all thought. It's all energy. Our bodies are just energy. And it responds. Our bodies respond to our thoughts. Whatever we're thinking produces a feeling state in the body. Now, some thoughts we don't really think much about. They're always going by in the ticker tape of our mind. And some of them go by and we don't even really notice them. There's not really any effect, even though they're going by. Why? Because your attention hasn't grabbed onto it. So the thoughts are going by. Thousands of them, apparently. I don't know how they determine that there's 60 or 70,000 thoughts going through your mind, and something like 95% of them are repetitive. They're just looping. It's like, I get that. That made sense to me. I could see that. So many of the thoughts are going by, and we're not attaching to them. We're not making meaning of them. And then there are some that go by. It's like, what if this happens? And now all of a sudden we've grabbed onto it. We've made meaning of something, or let me use something tangible, like the sound this morning. The sound didn't work. I could have made something of it and got all worried and all of that, and it's just like, okay, well, what makes sense to do? Well, right now I don't know how to turn up my volume except for speak louder, which I realized I probably softened. And I was using my AirPods, so maybe that would make a difference. So I would say it was a fairly healthy way to, process a thought. I got information. I had a thought about it. I want people to be able to hear me and have a good experience. I don't want anyone having to strain. Maybe I'll bring the computer a little closer so that you can hear. So that was just the thoughts that went through. I did what I could, and then that's it. That's all. That's all I can do right now. And later I made a note to check into the sound. I didn't actually finish writing my note. Now I did. But we'll grab onto a thought and we'll just roll it around and then add a new thought on and add something else. And in the meantime, our body from the inside out is starting to contract and in different places. Pull together, earlobes touching shoulders, gritting. I have some jaw clicking stuff that I'm working on. It's like, all right, how are you going to heal this, Michaela? It's like I'm my own experiment. I don't just talk about this. It's just like, well, how does it work here? How can I help this? So our thoughts have an incredible impact on our body. Eckhart Tolle. I looked his name up this morning. How do you pronounce his last name? Because I always think I say it wrong, and I've learned it's Tolle. And he said that healing is being. And it's like, yeah. Because as soon as we are in the moment, like let's right now, and what we did at the beginning of the call, to just allow ourselves to like sink into the moment, to just land here and land in the next moment. When we're living in the moment, there's so many thoughts that just popped into my mind about living in the moment, and there was energy, and it was like doing things like living in the moment is being present to whatever is going on right here in the moment. It's not about trying to embellish the moment to make it more, to live every moment. It's like you are living. You are living. And you can only live in the moment. And the only way you miss the experience of living in the moment and having your body heal naturally is when your thoughts are, spinning around on, well, who knows what it might be spinning around on. Something from the past or something from the future. Creating this movie playing out. And that's okay. It's fun to be in a movie sometimes. I love to imagine. I love to just like, what's possible? What if? What if that? And I'm learning. We're all learning together. I'm learning that if I get really hooked into something that I imagine, I want things to look like this. That's what I want. And you get attached to that, and anything less than that. And that's like, we're in an infinite world. So to have your attention put on this one little expectation, just like this, the setup for disappointment is great. And when we look to, well, what do I want? What is the feeling of what I want to experience? What is that? What, I might imagine this weekend going out to the lake and camping, and it's just, I know there's going to be beach. I know there's going to be sand. I know there's going to be card playing. We're going to be sharing a big meal together on Saturday night. There's going to be a fire, whether it's wood or in a fire bowl. And I know there's going to be family, and there's going to be catching up in conversation. There's going to be curiosity. And all of those things feel delightful. And I'm going to just lightly have that. Just lightly have that. Rather than, right, we're going to, play. The Saturday dinner happens. Are we going to go kayaking? Yeah. When? I don't know. I'm not going to get caught up in all the details. As soon as you start putting in the details then that's what can sort of get in the way and cause tension in the body. Let me go to the body now. So what happens in the physical body? So energy work I've been for 30 some years, have played in that realm, and it is like play. Because it's like Play-Doh. I don't have my Play. I put my Play-Doh away. It's the stuff of creation. Anything is possible. We already heal. We know what to do when we get a cut or something. Something makes sense to us to do. Clean it. Maybe put ointment on it, antibiotic cream or something, and a Band-Aid to protect it and give it a chance to heal. But we're not in there making it heal. It just heals because that's how our system was created. And the only thing that can get in the way of it, I'll answer to two things because I know that's only is one of the things that can get in the way of it is messing about in it. If you keep picking off that Band-Aid and checking it out, if you're the curious sort, like to see how the body, looks. And if you keep messing around in there, you're interfering in the healing process. Well, let's go back to our thoughts and how they affect our body. How the thoughts and feelings rise together. And with that is a chemical reaction in the body. I don't know about all the hormones exactly. I do know about cortisol. And I'm after menopause after that, so I'm a little bit familiar with all of how that plays out too. Once you kind of understand a little bit about how it works, what's happening, why, there's heart disease and all of strokes and all of these things that happen in the body that I truly believe will be lessened when we're not like a wound messing about and trying to keep moving the furniture around rather than just getting present to the moment. It's a practice. Like I don't mean that you have to, do this for X number of minutes every day. I don't mean that. Every moment is an opportunity to practice for a moment being present to it. Oh my goodness. Like, this is so curious to me. I'm going to share this because whenever because I've done it, this was second or third time, whatever, when I've said like being present to the moment, even saying the words, when I settle into it, I can feel this energetic drop in my shoulders. It's amazing. It is mind-blowing to me how instantaneously our thoughts create an experience in our bodies. So, what about disease, or if we're born with a condition, or or we've had an accident, like an extreme accident, or not even an extreme accident, any accident that mars the body, like cuts it, or where there's scar tissue, or a bone that's been mended, what about that? Well, even there, our thoughts affect it. When for some reason, this is coming into my mind, so I'm just going to do it, because when I said broken bone, and cuts and those kinds of things, how the body, looking at it factually, how the body, actually, this is an assumption. I know that with skin and tissue, it cross-hatches to heal. It's like, it's like when a hole is punched in the wall and it's a really big one, you can put this mesh thing on, and it's like strengthens it, and then you can mud it and all that. It's like the body creates this cross-hatching to strengthen and patch together the wound. But then it becomes like stiff. Now, I see that not only, so the movement, it's like it takes some time. That's why there's physiotherapy, right? There's physiotherapy because you want to get the cross-hatching to start to go in a way so it's like moving, so you have more mobility. So that is energy. Even all that cross-hatching, it's all energy. We look at it as this solid form, but it's actually vibrating. And at times we can have our emotions, so here's where words can get tricky. When I'm thinking about this, let's say, for example, that it was, well, there was something that happened with a childhood friend, and we were at a party, something happened, I cut my knee. Well, that I have you could say that I have the memories of my friend and that event are kind of tied up in my knee, because I have this association of that little accident that happened. But it's not, because it's only a memory. And what is a memory? Thought. So there's a memory that seems to be, locked into my knee. Now, that actually was a very happy memory, a good memory, even though I got an injury. It actually is a good feeling thing. But when something happens that affects the body, there is an energetic memory thought. There's thought in there. One thing Sydney Banks said, and it was, if only people knew that their experience is nothing to be afraid of, that their feelings are nothing to be afraid of. And it's because it's just thought. And when I say just thought, man, sometimes that thought is overwhelming, terrifying, heartbreaking, right? Our thoughts produce feelings. So, of course, the stronger the thought, the more energy, the attention that we bring to the thought, and the more we think about it and maybe add more contributing thoughts to the story, we feel that. What I notice is that we do. I'll tell you a story in a minute. But we do get like, we want to backpedal from our feelings because, oh my gosh, I just got goosebumps. Because it seems that it's the event or whatever happened that that is affecting us. But it's really just our thought about it. We're only ever in relationship to our own thinking about anything. That's it, that's all. There's never anything else. Excuse me. My feeling that arises up when I think about that event around my knee, it's not coming from my friend. It's not coming from the event. It's not coming from that time in my life. It's coming from within me. This is like a whole system. It's like everything is contained. It comes from inside. Even my body is outside of who I am. I use it to express through. I use it to, I've chosen glasses and I adorn it. I use it to express myself. It's mine, whatever that means. It's I'm sorry, I was missing sometimes the thought is not, sorry, Ren, I missed your comment, so I'm not sure how to not get caught up in that thought. Sometimes the thought is not related to anything, it's just a sticky, anxious one, irrational. Well, here's the thing, Ren. The more you try to push it away and not get caught up in it, the more engaged you will be. Imagine that you have tar on your hands and you're trying to push your thought away. It's not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere. And the more you push it, the bigger it gets, the more energy it gets. Because there's this resistance. I'm going to grab my whiteboard and I'll show something. Oops. If you are on like a listening device and not seeing, I will do my best to describe what I'm about to draw. This is how I see the world. So I'm drawing a line across, and it's like one of those heartbeat, like the EKG thing. That's sort of the idea. And this is source energy. So at the bottom, the grounding, this is what I call my grounding. I can rely on it. It's solid. It is always there, 24/7. I can rely on it. So I call this my grounding. So I'm grounded by source. Now you know that this creative energy, infinite potential, it is everywhere. It's not just under our feet, but I know you'll understand. So I've drawn a stick figure with the heart is kind of the body, let's say. And in the top, there's a thought bubble. So we are lived by source. It is guiding us. It is running through us all the time. It is balancing when we are in our present moment, in a place of rest, of calm, of peace, freedom. There's so much in that moment when we're in the moment. There's so much in there. It's such a rich experience. One moment. Anyway, so we are lived and breathed by it. Our body can heal in that atmosphere, in that environment, let's say. And actually the body, our natural state is health and well-being. Our natural mental state is well. That is our natural state. Always. Even when there's afflictions with the body. Even then. And I'll speak to that in a minute. Remind me if I forget. So Ren, just getting back to you. Here's the thing. We are human beings. We have this thought bubble. It's always happening. And there are always thoughts going across our mind. Always. And then, they repeat. They'll come in. So you asked about how do you not get caught up. First of all, you're human. And you can escape that, and you will get caught up in your thoughts from time to time. And the more, and I'm going to show you the simple practice, if you want to call it that, of breaking the cycle. And that is noticing. Because what happens when we're thinking these thoughts and then we start to, and your body will tell you immediately, and that you're caught up in thinking that is not serving you. It's going against your true nature. It's going against the source energy that's living through you and guiding you, because it is always going to guide you and have you going down the most easeful path. And whenever it's not easeful, whenever it feels like stress or struggle or strain, it means that you're trying to figure something out with your personal mind instead of allowing your universal mind to lead the way. It's always there. And when you slow down and have that place of presence, that will happen. So here's what happens. Pardon me. When you notice that you're getting caught up in your thinking, just the noticing, Ren, breaks the pattern. Just the noticing. Now, let me tell you why this works. Because you can only think one thought at a time. only one at a time. So as soon as your attention goes to, oh, I'm feeling tense, immediately the thought is broken. Like you don't even have to think words. You just like, oh. Have you ever done that? Where you have been all caught up and then all of a sudden you find yourself almost involuntarily taking like a big breath, like, that is wisdom. That is your true nature coming in and breaking the pattern for you, giving you respite, giving you an opportunity to think something different. Okay, well, yes, becoming aware, absolutely. So, what do you mean an opportunity to think a new thought? All I can think about is this. When I really get caught up in my thinking, and I use this to help people through this, it can be really helpful to look at the facts of a situation. Because what you will find is that there are very few facts in any situation, even though we have all of these thoughts going on. What do you mean? Look at all the thoughts. Look at all of the information I have to support, defend, analyze, whatever, this situation. Don't you see this? But actually, oh, I just lost my train of thought. See, just like that. Cleared my throat and I thought about that. Sorry, a little squirrely. So, right, how do you change it? So the whole idea about facts. I like to look at what are the facts of the situation. And now facts are something that anyone in the world can look at and agree that that is a fact. I had an accident. I injured myself. That's a fact. The doctors, they said it, and they said it's going to take 3 months in a cast, and then we'll take it off. That's a fact. The doctor said that. That's all that you can go on now. But there might be all of this, oh my gosh, now how am I going to drive, and how am I going to do this, and what am I going to do and how am I going to take care of the kids, and am I still going to be able to do my job? And all of the rest is thought. So just at times, taking a moment to just look at the facts, man. Just look at what am I going to do? Or what's at stake here? What's the facts? What's true? This. And there's usually very few facts. It's been very helpful for me, and it's been very helpful for people that I've worked with to just give some space and clarity on, okay. And what it does is it allows you to get present to the moment. And when you get present to the moment, this gap, this space, you now have space to hear your universal mind guide you. And if there is something to do, you will know. It will come up and it will make sense. And you can choose to do it and it will feel good. Or you could choose to resist it. I can't do that. I can't ask my friend to look after my kids and bath them at night because I'm in a cast. I can't. And then the tension builds up. Again. So every moment of every day, there's an opportunity. There's a choice point. Once you, no, it doesn't always feel like there's a choice point because we have habitual thinking that comes up, right? It's like, I can't. But once you're aware of how the mind is working, you can catch it. Oh, there I go again. Sometimes you'll spend 2 days muddling about in something, and then it's like, oh, wow. You'll catch it. And that will break the cycle. And then there's an opportunity. So what do you do instead? So, yeah, the facts is one thing. Looking at that, giving yourself a break, just becoming clear on what's going on here. Getting real, I call it. It's just becoming aware, really. Then it's like, well, what do I want? Look to, what do I want from this situation? What's the best possible outcome? What am I wanting to? Well, I want to carry on. I want to live my life. I want to live fully still, even with a cast on my arm. I want to carry on. And how will that look? Well, how this could be, what's possible. Things will come up. What just came up in my mind is how fun to have your kids and your friends and your family to sign to, put some form of love and healing on you. How can we play with this? How can I still live a wonderful life? When you look to the things that you would enjoy experiencing, the feeling of them, that will draw to you more. When you focus on fun, like this weekend, kind of just expecting it's going to be light and fun and, there's going to be all of that. In my day, I'm kind of expecting, well, no, I'm not really expecting. I wouldn't be surprised if I have already interesting conversations and fun and lightness and all of that, because I'm kind of looking to that. I'm connected to that. I'm vibrating with those energies. Yeah. Are there any other questions or comments? I'm not sure what I've covered off well enough to be of support, but if there's something that's niggling, that, well, what about here, or what about that? We had, part of the conversation yesterday was around, like, what if you are you come into this world with the condition of the body that isn't typical of most bodies? What about that? How do I heal that? Part of the conversation was, we are lived and breathed and expressed through and by creative energy, God energy. And all that wants to do is to enjoy. We have a natural draw to feel better. And even in a body, because, let's face it, our bodies are finite perspectives of us. The essence of who Ren is, who Melissa is, who Caitlin is, who Elena is, who Barbara is, who I am, it's very unique to us and can only be expressed in our own particular way through our own particular body. So there's something that wants to be expressed through you in a way that can only be expressed through you. And your delightful adventure in this life is to open up to all that can be. It's not going to look like our lives and how we express, it's not going to look the same. It's going to be unique. And that is the color of life. And then we get to interact. We get to mix colors. Like here, in this chat, we're mixing. Even when there's no words or words written or spoken, we're mixing together. And we're having our own personal experience of it. I'm having my own personal experience of it. I'm enjoying it. I'm noticing things. I noticed there was a couple of times where I was like, ooh, I felt like there was a tension built, and it's like, oh, I was getting caught up, and I just came back down. I noticed that happen a couple of times. So, what's to do? What's to do? Slowing down. Creating white space in your calendar. I worked with a business coach a few years ago, and I just, this was one of the, I learned a lot of things from her, but one of the really great things that she had us do a monthly calendar each month. Full confession, I don't always do this, but I do keep it in mind. And I just talked to it's fresh because I just talked to my husband about it last night, and it was about blocking free time or off time, creating off time in your calendar. That when if you're doing a calendar, and now I don't do, now I'm down to like a sticky note. What are a few things? What's sort of pertinent today? But I find that my body would benefit from more sleep and more, maybe, I work with different people on different sides of the world. So like Monday morning I had a 6 a.m. meeting, and Tuesday was a 7 a.m. and I find I can only do so many of them, and then it's like, okay, I need a 9 o'clock start. So it's listening, because that infinite intelligence is guiding you how to care for your body. It's telling you all the time whether you need to slow down, whether you have more energy to do more, whether you need to eat this fruit or this pizza or that burger, or drink this water, or, how about tomato juice or whatever. It's just like you are guided in what is right for you. It's like it's intuitive living. And to hear, and trust me, don't trust me. Test it out for yourself. Test it out for yourself. Use yourself as your own experiment. What about trying to, instead of running away from a feeling, first catching that, I had a thought and there's a feeling. It's like, what if I just sat with that feeling? Because as soon as you look, and what I mean by sit with, I don't mean I'm in such pain, I'm in something, not that. What I mean is finding, where is it in my body? Where am I experiencing this? Because you experience it in your body. Where am I experiencing it? Where is it in my body? And play with it. It'll come up. You'll see. You'll know. You can just put your attention there, or you can hold your hand on wherever it might be. Just notice the area and almost like look at it. You might give it a color or a shape. Something I did in, Reiki our thoughts are so powerful. Our mind is so powerful. But the thing is, as soon as you put your attention on the space where it is and just let the feeling be, just be with it, you might cry. You might be surprised coming up in the moment, what thoughts come up, what information comes up to inform you, to guide you. And the feeling will pass. Why? How can I be so sure? Because thoughts come and go. That's their nature. A feeling will dissipate. But rather than squirting away from it, just being with it and just allowing it. I notice that it moves on pretty quickly. And what I find is the memories, the thoughts, that if they were recurring, if it was a, something that's, if it was a recurring thought that comes up every now and again and you just feel the pain of it over and over again, when I sit with it and let it go, I find that that memory doesn't come back. Or when it does, its intensity is lessened. And then I can sit with it again. You've probably heard that saying about what you resist persists. I kind of get that now, like in a different way. Because in a way that, right? Because what your thoughts go on, what your attention goes on, that's what you're experiencing. So you want to, catch it when it goes there and put it onto, it's like, what do I want instead? And it's always going to lean to taking you home to your natural state of health and well-being, freedom. This energy that lives and breathes us, freedom. There is no limits there. That is home. That is our home. Yeah. I hope this was helpful. And I know a topic can be introduced and we can begin to talk about it. And sometimes I just kind of let it go. Like, I know there was I do a mind map on my subjects and just kind of let out what seems of essence to speak about. But oftentimes not everything gets spoken about. So then I don't know if there was an expectation that you had about what you were going to get out of it. You have a question that didn't get answered. I'm like, you can send me a message. You can pop it in here. I can be here for a minute and catch them. Or you can send me a message and say, what about this? Or how does it work there? Or can you talk about this more? I love feedback. I love your questions. I love to answer them. I appreciate this platform, Insight Timer. Thank you for this space for us to connect. It's really lovely to meet you, see new faces and see familiar faces. I just scheduled, well, it may not be up yet because they need to go through a process of you're welcome, Ren. But there will be another talk. There'll be at least 2 next week, maybe 3. And, let me just look for a moment. On Monday, it's at 11:11 on Monday, July 24th. So, and it's about expression. But we'll see, it might change. Oh, let me get back to, there we go. So, it's been a pleasure. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. And if you don't already and you would like to, please follow. You're welcome, Christine. Nice to see you again. And yeah, I'll be here. So take care and have a lovely day. Ciao. Inski, is that right? Awesome. So thank you, Michaela. First time here with you. Lovely. Very nice to meet you. Is it Inski? Thank you for the love. It is lovely to meet you. Lovely to be in community with you here and exploring. we're all equal, right? We all come from that great equalizing place of source energy. And we're here to learn from each other, remind each other, and remember who we are, remember where we came from. Yeah, life is good. Oh, thank you very much. I really appreciate that, Insky. Thank you so much. Joan asks, how do you face the fear to go ahead and move on in life? Well, I'm happy to stay on and answer that. Let's look at the words even, and then let's press it against what we were speaking about today, about facing the fear to go ahead. So really if I was to animate this, like act it out, I'm looking here, I'm facing it, and the fear is right here. I am facing the fear. But what is the fear? Let's talk about the fear. Because the fear is just thought. So we're looking, it sounds like you have fearful thinking. It sounds like you're having some thoughts that are scaring you. So you can do what we had talked about earlier. So whatever it is that you are fearing, Joan, there is information in that. There's two types of information. There are facts and there is story. Story is our thinking about it. It's our personal perspective. You need to separate and buy a new home. Yeah, okay. So here's what, when I would look at that, I would look at, okay, that's a lot. It seems like a lot. Now, do you hear how just with my thoughts about it, I'm making it big? A separation, whoa, that's big. And buying a new home, whoa, that's big. But only in our own mind. I'm not saying that there aren't things to do, Joan. But what I know would be most helpful is to get quiet in the moment and just you speaking this question out is already, the answer for you is already there. Oops. Your answers are coming from here. The more time you spend trying to figure it out from your personal mind, the more muddled you're going to get. In my experience, in my personal experiencing, and that's kind of sounding what you're experiencing too. So what is really helpful is just getting quiet. And the question is an unspoken question, but it's like, what's next? Not, oh my goodness, how do I manage separation and buying a new home? The question instead is, what's next? What's next? The first thing. And one little thing is going to come up to do. One thing. It might be go for a walk, Joan. Go get some fresh air. Go have a nap. Go drink some water. Go have a bite to eat. Every moment we are being guided, and we can practice, test it out for yourself. We are being guided 24/7. If there's nothing, if you're getting nothing, like, I don't know, because my personal experience, it's like was that wisdom? I can't tell. Was that wisdom saying that, or was that my personal, I don't know. Am I making the right? Yeah, that's thinking. You will know. You're getting nothing. Okay, great. You know what? Then do nothing in this moment. Then do nothing. And I really hear, like I do hear how that might sound so unhelpful, Michaela. Do nothing. Christine says, I've been there. You'll find strength you never knew you had. I wish you all that strength and courage. Absolutely. It's lovely, Christine. Yes. There will be things to do. Noni, so powerful to do nothing. Absolutely. My mom used to tell me, Michaela, if in doubt, don't. The thing is, if you're feeling doubt, it means that you have some thinking. You are strong, Joan. And I want to remind you, Joan, that who you think you are, that is not stronger, is a teeny tiny aspect of you. You are so much more than your body, and you as, a woman. When in doubt, do now. English version of your mom's wisdom. When in doubt, do now. Do now. Nout. Cool. Well, that's new for me. When in doubt, do nout. Like don't. Is that what you mean? Means nothing in English slang. Okay. Very cool. Thank you for that. I'm going to write that word down. I like it. Note. Nothing. Thank you, Insky. Yeah, you're welcome. Joan, if there's anything that comes up, if you have more questions, would like to expand, feel free to message me. You don't get out for note. Louise, you don't get anything for free. Oh. Your wisdom has been gentle yet penetrating. Thank you so much. You're welcome. Thank you. You're welcome, Melissa. You're welcome. Another one. If in doubt, blow it out. Yes, Allison. Fun. I'm going to write these down. This is fun. I think I'm going to do a talk on relationship, because there's so much. And remember that we are only ever in relationship with our own thinking. And I know it doesn't look like that. And we've been conditioned to not see it like that. But that is, in fact, how the mind works. That is helpful. It will be helpful. Test it out. I invite you to test it out in your life. Appreciate things that come into your, like, what are you looking to experience? Even in that, Joan, what would you like to experience? How would you like it to go? Would you like it to just flow? Would you like it to be easy? Would you like it to be light? What is the feeling of it? And I don't mean positive thinking, right, this separation is easy and, I don't mean that. I mean get present. And it's just like, how do you want it to feel? And look to that. Feel that. Because in this moment, you can already experience it. And it will draw to you. Like attracts like. It will draw to you more experiences outside of the separation and buying a new home, outside of it, your days will become peppered, salted and peppered with experiences of that feeling. So, and then have a very, Noni, have a very powerful imagination. This is wonderful guidance. Yeah, go. Well, thank you again for being here. I've really enjoyed the experience. I wish you all a wonderful day. Hope to see you next Monday when that, I don't think it's live yet because I just submitted it this morning. Was a little late on the draw. I like to have a couple up, so I'll show up a couple times next week too. And if there's any subjects that you would like expanded upon, then let me know. Message me. I love to hear that. I have a ton of ideas too, and sometimes like, well, I just gotta sit and see what wants to be explored first. So, love to you all. See you again. Ciao.